Mudslide is a sequel to the two-parter Feet of Clay from earlier in the first season. It continues the story of Matt Hagen and his violent quest to become himself again. It's not as fondly remembered or highly regarded as his first appearance, but the story is just as tragic with more well-done animation. We see the continued downward spiral of Clayface and its high drama as always. Clayface is back, but not in good shape. He encounters Batman on his latest robbery and is clearly losing his form. Barely escaping in the car of a Dr. Stella Bates, they return to her lab where she uses special chemicals and a bodysuit to keep him from falling apart. The solution to Hagen's problem may be available in a rare isotope called MP40. It could fully restore or even amplify his powers, but it's only available at Wayne Biomedical Labs. Meanwhile, Batman tries to find out Stella's identity and connection to Matt. When Clayface eventually breaches Wayne Biomedical, it leads to a confrontation that may just be curtains for the former actor. The original writers and directors of Feet of Clay Parts 1 and 2 did not return for Mudslide. Instead, series co-creator Eric Radomski handled directing duties, with producer Alan Burnett coming up with the story and Steve Perry writing. The episode is on the same level of quality, even if it's not as well known. Hagen's descent here is a natural progression from the last time we saw him. It's been said that the main reason was because he was too expensive to animate. That definitely checks out. TMS animated perhaps the best looking sequence in the show's history in Feet of Clay Part 2, and that did not look cheap. Studio Junio handled the animation in Mudslide, and while there's no sequence like the finale of the character's last appearance, they still did a really good job showcasing Clayface's more grotesque fading abilities. Hagen is still shown to be a sympathetic enough character for Batman to want to help. Clayface is a very stubborn, mutated man though. I'm guessing he just doesn't trust Batman, but he does look in a desperate enough place to where if he did take up the Dark Knight's offer, it might actually be believable. Instead, he's aided by an old medical consultant from one of his movies. Dr. Bates is shown to be in love with Hagen, which makes his manipulation of her easier. I don't think he has authentic romantic feelings for her, but I guess that is left to question.
I'm sorry. I know I owe everything to you. You cured more than my body. You cured my heart.
The irony in the isotope Hagen needs being located at Wayne Biomedical is another tragic twist of fate. If Clayface agreed to let Batman help him, he may have been able to work with Dr. Bates and, as Bruce Wayne, provide enough of the MP40 to heal Hagen's melting form. Clayface does get away with a canister of the isotope and gets as far as Bates starting the injections. When Batman discovers the lab, though, he shuts down the procedure. I'm thinking his motivations for doing that involved the unpredictability of the MP40. It was shown to be working before Batman intervened, and Bates mentioned that it could make the Clayface ability strong enough to take on the form of Matt Hagen permanently. But making his ability stronger could also mean an unhinged Clayface, able to live his life as Matt Hagen and transform into anyone else whenever he wanted to get whatever he wanted. Batman mentions letting the lab boys take over, so maybe he'd keep this experiment going somehow, but there were probably too many variables to let things play out the way they were. Spoilers for the climax from here on out. In a really well done sequence, Batman is absorbed into Clayface as Hagen attempts to drown his enemy. Like a lot of other moments involving Clayface, this happens horrifically, and Batman's escape is just as jarring.
Huh?
The ending is another devastating one, as Hagen battles Batman outside in the rain. He starts to come apart before falling to his apparent demise in the water below. It's a great scene, and we wouldn't see Clayface show up again until Holiday Nights, though his survival isn't explained until another heart-wrenching story called Growing Pains. Both of those appearances happen in the new Batman Adventures season. There are more than a few film references in Mudslide. Hagen's love interest is named Stella Bates and used to own a motel that she sold to build her secret lab. The Bates name and motel mention is a nice reference to Psycho. The Stella name and Hagen's brilliant shouting of it, Stella! Stella! Is a reference to Marlon Brando in A Streetcar Named Desire. The old Hagen movie Stella is watching is called Dark Interlude, which bears a passing resemblance to the 1939 film Dark Victory. Interlude was the movie Bates was the medical consultant on, and Clayface uses his line from the end of it to soothe her later. The Warner Brothers logo shown at the end adds a nice bit of legitimacy to that in-universe film. Hagen's bodysuit also resembles an Oscar, and a lot of his lines toward the end are film or theater industry terms.
You've upstaged me for the last time, Batman. Time to bring down the curtain.
Shirley Walker's musical score is a strong element of the final product, as usual. That Clayface theme is one of the show's best pieces of music, and it's used to full effect in Hagen's epic fall from the cliff. Best moment of the episode right there. Mudslide is a worthy sequel to Feet of Clay and ended the tragedy of Clayface for a few years. I think the only thing missing was an appearance from Hagen's old friend Teddy. His presence was missed. I could have seen him having a small role in helping Batman to identify Dr. Bates and track down Matt, but oh well. Watch this back-to-back with the Feet of Clay two-parter if you're in the mood for a somber, visceral, and monstrous Batman villain story.